Hey there, Marvin.
What's popping, Genie? You good? It's
I'm good, man. How are you?
been a while, man. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, good couple of years as well, isn't it?
I think the last time I saw you, it was at the comedy store, wasn't it? When you you won it. Well, you beat the
Oh,
Gong. You smashed it to pieces.
oh, the 5 minutes one. Yeah, I think that might have been 2 years ago then.
Yeah, it was quite something. I remember the Gong show. I mean, it's got so many different characters that go there, and it is effectively, yeah. There's no mercy. It's very Cobra Kai. I mean, you have to get them on
Yeah,
side straight away.
I know, man. I learned that from my very first time going there, and you could just see it from, especially the second half, because obviously the first half, not many, the audience don't have that much alcohol in the system, but after the break, the more alcohol is coming in and they're absolutely brutal to the acts. So yeah, I've definitely seen it from both ends.
No, it's yeah, it's great. It's great to have you here. And like it was, I mean, to to the viewers back home, this is a good friend of mine, Junior Herbert. He is a comedian. He's, how would I say, you're a self-help guru as well at the same time.
Oh, I don't know about that. But just let you know, I've stopped doing comedy now.
Uh,
Yeah, I stopped doing it May last year, May. But how would I say self grew? I would just say putting positivity out there on social media. I wouldn't call myself a guru, but I would say thank you for saying that actually.
but you're someone that likes to help people out and give practical advice, but you don't want to say that you're this or that. You just say, look, if you need help with this and that, I can give you some good advice. Take it on board, and it's going to help you.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of my skills. Yeah.
And yeah, it's great to have Junior Herbert, and it's great to have you here because I mean, I read so many books like from Tony Robbins, and I've read a few books on like visualization, law of attraction, and all these different things, and people always talk about it. Like Michael Phelps says he always used to dream of swimming. Wayne Rooney talks about envisioning the perfect goal
Yeah.
before each game, but they make it sound so easy and so simple, and I've tried doing it myself, but in
Yeah.
all honesty, you're the only person that I've seen actually a real life example of actually putting it into action and making it happen.
Oh, thank you. Well, actually, first I want to say thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate that. I do evaluate your time that you actually given me, and I would say it's this journey of putting positivity out there in social media. It's been a long journey. I've been doing it, but I am doing it because through the it's just through the industry that I'm in, and they've actually um, given that to me, telling me what books to read, who to follow, and it's just gone through that really. And I know, especially times like this, what everyone's going through some bad times, it's just good to put it out there. Well, it's just to like uplift people, saying it's not all bad and gloom.
Yeah,
I know everyone's gonna have their bad days, but just think of what you want to achieve and or before you pass away, what things you want to do, like where you want to go, how you want to live your life, especially if it's relationships or financially or friends. So yeah, not trying to get people out of that doom and gloom situation and just put them into a positive light, and that's what I'm trying to do. I can't save everyone, but as long as I put it out there in the world, I know it's going to reach out to one person today or maybe two.
yeah, I agree. I think what's it called? They say with a lot of things, a person has to be willing to change. Or like with smoking, the person has to be really willing to stop before you do anything. Because
Of course.
if you do anything, you're hitting a brick wall.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely believe that as well because that's smoking, drinking. You can tell people like or the benefits of if you stop smoking. You can tell the benefits of like if you continue to smoke, it's gonna give you tar in your lungs, cause cancer, X, Y, Z. But you can tell them the benefits of not smoking, but it's just be down to them if
Mm.
they're having the will and the passion. And some people have to go through, the bottom of the barrel to think, oh gosh, you know what, I've got this disease now, I'm gonna have to stop. So it's only when the crap hits the fan, that's when some people decide to stop.
Mm. Yeah, my dad says that people are creatures of habit and they only change unless they have to.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's totally true as well. But you know, um, if people just knew, like, I think they have to know someone as well who's been through it as well. So, for example, I'm not a smoker. I don't know if you smoke, but if I tell you, oh, these are the benefits if you don't smoke, you're probably thinking, well, you're not a smoker, how do you know? But then you have to see someone, who's been through a pain. When you have that voice box of someone smoking, then that's when you only see the visualization. It's like, oh, wow, maybe you should stop smoking because I don't want to have that voice box growing up when I'm older.
Yeah. It's but I mean, there's so many. See you later. We're keeping that in the podcast.
Yeah.
But the thing is, take care. I'll see you soon.
You're not gonna have no babies running around in the background, are you?
No. No, it's a funny situation. I was in France before the lockdown happened. I was doing like the Gaulier course, so I was about to start a job there, but because of Corona, I came back here. So
yeah.
I moved back in with the parents.
At least you got a roof over your head.
Yeah, I'm thankful to be in the situation I'm in. And one of the things I have decided, I'm going to take a bit of a risk, because before I used to work in like part-time jobs, well, not part-time, like full-time jobs and jobs that I didn't like and then support, but they would finish early so I could go and do comedy and other things.
Yeah.
But it's not productive because I'd be tired and it will kill myself, and I wouldn't have any sort of, there's no space to think about things or to process things.
Yeah.
So I want to take the risk of trying to make what I want to do like my full-time job. And then if it doesn't work out, I'll get a part-time job alongside it. Yeah. But I don't think I'll ever go to a full-time job in anything I hate again.
Yeah. And that's the good thing you actually say that. Don't go into a full-time job with something that you're not passionate about, because, if there's something truly you're passionate about, like comedy, I would say, or if anyone's watching this, I would say, just do any regular job part-time, but then focus on your craft when you get home. So say like you start work at 9 o'clock in the morning, finish about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. That's great. So for the next, 6-7 hours, just work on your craft, whether that's be connecting with people who's involved in your industry, or just watching or do a course, or just watch people on YouTube who are in the industry, and you just learn off them, and just have like, I would say, connect with 5 people who are in the same industry than you, but who are better than you, so then you can improve yourself.
Yes, or the same level.
Yes.
Because if it's, and also, you can't really help anyone else unless you've helped yourself first.
Of course.
I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's because I'm always hanging around with people who are advancing me with something I'm doing. So that's the one I improve myself. And then I'll try and bring people along the way as well. So I can say, listen, this is what I'm doing. I know we're in the same sort of network. Have a look at what I'm doing, see if it's a fit for you. I never force or push people to do something that you don't want to do. Like we said earlier, it's just down to their own.
Yeah. Just give me 1 second. There's a bit of noise from next door, so I'm going to close it a bit. 1 second.
That's all right.
So yeah, it's that's what it's all about. And I think I think a lot of us like to be confident and be around people that are maybe not as smart or this and that, and we feel confident, we feel this and that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really do you any good, and you're not sort of challenged, you're not getting the best out of yourself, and it's a lose-lose situation for you, effectively.
Of course, yeah, I definitely believe that as well. And like you say, when you hang around with people who are, I don't know how to quite put this, but who are less better than you, I don't know how to put it, but you want to improve yourself. So you have to come out that comfort zone and just say, you know what, this person is, 5 or 10 times better than me. Let me hang around them, see what they're doing, so I can improve myself. And then like in the future, someone who's, kind of looking up onto me, like, oh, this is what so-and-so's doing. Let me get in contact with them. So I always improve myself, and then to improve others as well.
Yeah. One thing, I mean, as I said before, it was when you spoke about like when you beat the Gong Show using all this visualizing affirmation, I was like, that's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Just like for people that are back home, please like tell us about how you did it and what like details you went to, because I think it's fascinating what you did.
Oh, thank you very much for saying that. But yeah, so for anyone that is watching that don't know about the Gong Show, I just explain into details what it is, and I hope try to simplify it. So the Gong Show in the Comedy Store, it's basically a competition where new acts can perform on stage and they try and perform for 5 minutes without getting gonged off. Now, the only way you can get gonged off is free audience members, random audience members have red cards. And if all the red cards goes up, you get off the stage. And that's it. You know, you could be on there for like 30 seconds, 45 a minute. If the acts don't like you, red card, you're gone. So I remember the first time I did this, I'm jumping the gun now. So yeah, at the end of you get to perform your 5 minutes, and if you survive, you go back at the end, all the other people that passed the 5 minutes, and you get to perform for 1 more minute without no cards at all in the audience. And then at the end there's a clap off, and if the audience likes you, then you come back at a later date to perform with professional acts, and you get an open spot 5 or 10 minutes. So this is what the Gong Show is, and I remember the first time I did it, done it in 3 minutes, I think it's 3 minutes, 4 seconds. And people said, oh, that was good. And I was really nervous. But then the second time I did it, I got about 1 minute. And I was absolutely furious with myself. I was like, I'm not doing this again. I blamed the audience members. I said, oh, they don't understand my jokes. You know, it was the wrong month to do it in. So I gave myself all these excuses. And then the third time I did it, I think I got about 2 minutes or something. So I thought, it's the same jokes as the first time. So I didn't know what's going wrong. I still blamed the audience members. So then the fourth time when I did it, I thought, you know what, let me visualize what I want to do. So I said to myself, okay, I want to pass the 5 minutes. Now, I didn't visualize I want to win the night. I visualized I want to pass the 5 minutes. So I gave myself a month of preparation. So I did some new material. I practiced different spots around London for like four days out of the week. So that leading up to the Gong competition, I've done about 16 to 20 practices spots in different locations. So when the night came, because you got 5 minutes, so I gave myself 7 minutes, 7 minutes of good material. So I just visualized it, I practiced and practiced and practiced, and then I must meditate. And when I was doing the meditation, I visualized, okay, I'm going to pass the 5 minutes. I'm going to pass the 5 minutes. I know I'm going to pass the 5 minutes because I prepared myself 7 minutes of material. And I didn't let no negativity come into my head. And so the night came now, on my way to the Gong Show, sitting on the London transport, thinking, okay, I'm going to pass, going through the routine in my head, trying to keep calm. And then I got there now, said hi to everyone. I saw you there on the night as well, so I said hi to you, sat at the back, and then the night came on, feeling a little bit nervous, sweating. And then I think I was the 5th person on, because I realized that you have to get a good chance to win, you have to go in the first half. So I made sure I got there early.
Yeah.
So I was the 5th person on. So night started now, first person went on, got gonged off. So, okay, no worries, just one person. Second person went on, they got gonged off. Oh my gosh, all right. I'm 5th one, so someone could definitely pass before me. Third person come on, they didn't pass the 5 minutes, they got gonged off. Fourth person went on, did all right, nearly passed the 5 minutes, but then they got gonged off. So then I was like, oh my gosh, is that going to happen to me as well? So I'm the 5th person to go on now. And yeah, went on, told my first joke, got the crowd going. Okay, cool, just try and keep calm, collective. And then, yeah, to shorten the story even more, like I did pass the 5 minutes. And I was the first person on that night to pass. And then I think throughout the duration, there was 3 other people three other people after me that went on and then passed the 5 minutes. But this is out of 30 people, I believe, and then they got And then you can have like 2 members of the audience that jump on if the MC will say, is anyone from the audience want to jump on? So it could be like 30 to 32 people. So it's just me and 3 other people that passed that night. But it was great experience because this was the first time I beat the Gong, and it's such a hard competition to pass. And, you know, I mean, if I would have visualized to win the night, I probably would have, but my aim was to actually pass the 5 minutes to get that bit of confidence up. And I did that just through visualization and just preparing myself as well. But I believe that whatever energy you put out there into the universe is what you get back. And this is what I believe. That's why we've done the 5 minutes, you know, and I practice as well. And got tips off everyone. But yeah, I think whatever you want to succeed in life, just visualize it and then it will happen.
Yeah, but keep going and work hard at it as well.
Of course, yeah. You just can't like wish for everything to happen and then it comes to you. You've got to put in the work as well. So it's, I don't know, the percentage, probably 50-50 visualizations and 50 of putting in the work.
I've got, because that's an interesting question, because I see, I hear about it and people talk about it, but what do you think's maybe a misconception in it? Because I think there's loads of people are using it, but I don't think necessarily a lot of people are using it well.
You mean using it well and achieving it? You mean?
Yeah, I don't think people are actually using it and actually obtaining it correctly or getting their goal or anything like that.
Yeah, I think it might be. I think it might be what you're wishing for. Because if you're saying, for example, oh, I want to have loads of money, like you got to have a specific number. You know, you got to say, I'll have loads of money, like £10 is a loads of money to most people. So if you say you want loads of money and then next week you get £10 in your pocket, or you just find £10 in the street, it's just like, oh, is this it? Like, why have I found this £10? You know, and you're not working towards your loads of money. So I reckon the reason why it doesn't work for most people is that because they're not saying what they exactly want. You know, you could, for example, you say like, oh, I want a new house. You know, you're not saying what kind of house do you want. You want a 2-bedroom? You know, do you want a 3-bedroom? Do you want it inside London? Do you want it outside London? Do you want it in another part of the world? So I think this is why some people have a misconception of it, because they think they're not exactly saying what they truly want, like down to the detail. Because this is what I learned in the past 2 to 3 years. Like, you have got to be specific what you want in your life. So for people not saying specifically what they want, they're not going to get it. They're going to keep on chasing and chasing and chasing because they're not saying the right words, what they want, and putting it out there.
Yeah. Because do you know someone called James Jani?
I haven't heard of them, no.
He's got a YouTube channel where he basically debunks a lot of people. So like he debunks self-help gurus, he debunks what's his face, like these marketing schemes where they say you have to pay so much to get involved and you sell it. And he says, you know, that's basically a pyramid scheme. And like with some self-help gurus, not all of them, obviously, a good number of them who make a lot of money, they want you to carry on being unhappy and unsuccessful so they can continue exploiting you.
Yeah. Funny you should say that, because I am in that industry. I wouldn't call it a pyramid scheme because but it's network marketing, and I'll be honest, like I've been scammed by one of them before, but the one I'm involved with, I done my research about them, and you know, I absolutely love it. So I wouldn't pass it on. I wouldn't get involved with anything if I know if it wasn't legit. But some of these gurus, they do put a downer on them, and the only reason why they do that is because, you know, a lot of people have been scammed. For example, me, a lot of people have been scammed, but I think it's just like going on Google, because a lot of these scam artists are on Google, you know, people that haven't been successful in the industry. They say, oh, it doesn't work. So they put a bad press on Google. But I am actually working with a few people that have been successful, and I see it work because I don't get into anything if I don't see the evidence. So I would just say do your own research before you follow anyone. Like, for example, if your mom said to you, oh, you know what, jump off this cliff, you're able to fly. You wouldn't believe it, would you? So so you wouldn't believe it. So you do your own research. So that's what I have to say to people, because just do your own research, speak to a few people before you take judgment and opinions from anyone else. Because you never know, you could be that person who wants to, I don't know, earn an extra bit of money. And you get advice from other people, but they tell you don't do it, don't do it. But you know what? If you're in that situation when you need to earn extra money, then do your own research and find a company that's good for you.
Yeah, because that's the thing. That's what I've found with a lot of the thing is, I know that there's a lot of good out there, but there's also a lot of bad, and it's about, I think, people finding out what's true and what isn't.
Yeah.
And that's what would you say is a telltale sign? So like with some marketing things that I've tried getting involved in, like I've been working on TikTok, and some of them I've worked with them, but the advice they've given me has been a bit too generic. And like I was in a bit of I still ain't growing it yet, but I will sort it out eventually. But I actually found more progress just doing my own thing and doing all that rather than the stuff they've given me.
Yeah.
And they set up a lot of systems or structures saying that you should do it this way. And then when I did it that way, there's no sort of result to anything.
Yeah. To be honest, with the company I'm involved with as well, they do have their own way how to get success. And I have done that as well, but it depends how you feel comfortable doing it. Because I reach out to people through social media. The way they teach you is to call up someone and try to get them to see your presentation. But then through social media, you gotta have that trust with other people to come and see what you're doing. So even though the way I'm doing it, it's a bit slower, I'm still finding quality people, and at the same time as well, building that trust with them, because I'm not just spamming them like everything all the time. It's just whether that opportunity is good for them or not, or if they're looking for something at the right time.
It's so effectively, because a lot of people always say, if you do this program, if you do that program, you're going to have it sorted. And I think when you have, why don't they just say the truth and say like, you're going to learn this and that, but maybe you should try and have like a base plan so we got more to work with. And I'm going around the circles. Let me see. The point I'm getting at is there's no such thing as a quick fix. And so you're always going to have to do your own research. And the point is with a lot of these programs, there's no such thing as like you're guaranteed to do this and that. Don't believe that. But you got to, I don't see many sort of people in self-help or marketing or anything tell you the truth. And I'd like to see that more. Like say that we can help you, can give you little guidelines, but at the end of the day, some of it may not work and you've got to find your own way of doing things.
Yeah. No, I totally understand. I'm so glad you hit the nail on the head, because with the company I'm involved with, we actually, at the very beginning, we tell you as a disclaimer, there's no guarantee you make money. So you have that at the very beginning. Before you even go in deep with the presentation, we tell you there's no guarantee. But we tell you a system that you can follow if you want, how you to make money. But then it depends on your work, the time you've got, the commitment. So I don't know if any other company out there that does it, but I know we do. And because we know the industry, well, I've been in the industry for like 3 years, but there's people who've been in there for 10 years plus. And they've been through every single company, but they've been in most companies that tell you lies. Say, oh yeah, if you join us, you could earn £1,000 per month. How do you know if someone can earn £1,000 per month? It depends on their work skills, especially if it's like a single mother, handling one or two children. Where's she gonna find time to actually get a babysitter to do the work? So we don't say how much you can make. We draw you out a plan and then tell you what you can do.
Because one of the things in James Janney, what he pointed out on is like drugs and self-help con artists are very similar. They play on the human oxytocin, like the joy hormone, so that they keep doing it. And it's a bit like, like a guy hooks woman in a toxic relationship, but he gives them that emotion. Oh, I feel so great around him. But he treats them like dirt, and like he cheats on them. And then like with some self-help gurus, like they have all these boot camps and they make you feel, oh my God, I'm going to change the world.
Yeah.
Next week you're back to normal and you spent £10,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh, you know what? It's just to be honest, there are a lot of manipulative people out there that do that. They play on their emotions because obviously when someone joins, they get a little bit of commission of that. So they're trying to recruit as much people as possible, thinking, putting money in their pocket. But what should be is the other way around. We want people to join, so we, at the end of the day, to put money in their pocket, not think about ourselves. And this is why most companies out there get it wrong. So you're supposed to help people, not get people in to help yourself.
It's a bit like, and they prey on people who are quite vulnerable. So like they've been down, they've been bullied, or they feel bottom low, and then maybe they'll feel even more low, and then they can be manipulated. Oh, this is the one good person that's saving the world, like, you know, getting them to believe in that Marvel superhero sort of thing.
Yeah.
That there's a better world, and then boom, they've lost loads of money.
Yeah. And I totally agree with that as well, because I think I don't prey on the vulnerable. I don't prey on people at all, but I look for people who are open. You know, I just say, listen, if it's something you want to look at, great. But there's some people out there, they use all the tricks to say like, oh yeah, this is how much you can make, and they try to ask questions about their lifestyle. So if they say like, oh, well, what you doing for a job at the moment? Are you in debt? And then once they got all the key points from them, they use that to manipulate them to say, oh yeah, if you come in here, you know what, you can earn this amount of money, and you can pay off your bills as well. And then once you pay off your bills, you can have the lifestyle you want. And once they join in, some people just leave them and say, okay, this is what you got to do. You got to do X, Y, Z. You know, I'll speak to you in the end of the week and then see how you're getting on. And that's it. Some people, they get no training at all. And this is what most of the companies out there, they need to change. You know, they've got to have the right people in there who will support them along the way and figure out what they want to achieve and help them to achieve it.
Yeah, I mean, and also when people fall into that trap, everyone, like, I mean, if you're 15 to like mid-20s, you want the Dan Bazillion lifestyle of like being surrounded by lots of women with ease. You want them all over you like flies around shit, and like not working hard, and you want things flowing around you. Everyone wants that. So if everyone wants that, why is it something so easy for you? We're not special. What the bloody say?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is how social media drawn people in. You know, to see the lifestyle of people driving on jet skis, or having a picture by the latest Mercedes or Lamborghini, and standing next to a jet plane. But more 90% of them, or 95% of them, hire that out so they get to take pictures to make themselves look good. They're probably in more debt than anyone else. And this is what we found out. Because for me, I keep it real. Like, I could take a picture of me in my room now and just say, like, this is who I am. You know, I'm working towards X, Y, Z. I'm not gonna be, I don't know, standing next to a plane with a suitcase and I'm gonna be flying to Paris for a meeting. Like, no, I'm not faking it till I make it. I'll be real. And there's a lot of people out there who are doing faking it till they make it, and they're in more debt than anyone because they're spending money on hiring stuff they can't even afford. You know, I don't think they even got a car. They're probably on like just getting to work on their rollerblades or Santander bike.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them. Like, what's it called? San Antonio Lopez or whatever his name is. That YouTube advert that used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of people out there who are faking it to make it, and then when they join, if I join one of them, I know for a fact they're going to be telling me, okay, this is what you need to do. And they're not going to give me no training session. It's like, I'm just there in my field by myself, figuring out everything, what needs to be done. And this is what the industry needs to change. And I believe that the company I'm in, we are changing that. I don't want to go too much into it, but I think I found what I'm passionate about, the company I'm with, and just trying to change the world. But there's so many people out there who are, just trying to manipulate people into the wrong things. Well, not wrong things, but manipulated them in the wrong way, and tell them to join because of X, Y, Z. You can quit your job in the next 18 months, which can be true, depending on your work ethic, but they tell you what you can achieve. And you should be telling them like, listen, it's not guaranteed, but we will train you and show you what needs to be done. It just depends on your sacrifices. If you can sacrifice X amount of hours, put in the work, then you can achieve it within, I don't know, 18 months plus. We're not giving, there's no overnight success. There's, yeah, it's not real overnight success.
It bloody must be a struggle in a way for your company, because a lot of big makers in the industry are not real. Like Jay Shetty, I know he's quite popular and he was known on Facebook, but he is known as a professional meme stealer. Like he's I mean, people don't like Nicole Arbour. She's a bit iffy herself, but she did a lot of screenshots showing side by side where Jay Shetty, he's seen a little quote by someone that's more famous, and he's gone and copied it or changed one or two words and made it look like it's his thing.
Yeah, I've heard about that actually, because I remember I got into a debate with someone on Instagram about it, because there was one video. I love the video, and I made a comment, and then one woman came. I wouldn't say she came at me, but she said, "Oh, you know, Jay Shetty, he actually copied this." I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if he copied it. X amount of people could have said it before him, but it's lucky enough that message reached out to me at that certain time for a certain reason, and I liked it. Yeah. So everyone copies everyone something. I mean, there's little kids out there, they want to be the next Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, or the next Kobe Bryant or Jordan. So it's just idols. Like, you can't be hating on people for being an idol. Like, at the end of the day, like, if I like someone and if you copied it, I don't care. That's just me. If you want to be in that negative mind frame, you stay there. You know, I'm not going to interact with you. I just, you know, if Jay Shetty, you know, brings that post that other people did, I don't care. I know even Gary V, Gary Vaynerchuk, he copies posts from other people as well. And someone pulled me up in that as well. I'm like, well, I don't care. You know, I liked it. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to put up posts that other people said, and I even put the names at the bottom, like who said it. You know,
it resonates and sort of spreads it around. Yeah. Okay, you know what? You've made a very good point. Let me think about things. Yeah, I suppose so. You might be right there. But the message he's sending is good though. So and what he's trying to do is good.
Yeah.
The only thing with regards to copying though, I think there is so how would you compare sort of copying in terms of what Jay Shetty does or like Gary Vee does to someone that goes out to joke steal in comedy?
Joke steal? Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. I would say, you know what, I'll confess. There's some jokes that I've said, but I've kind of made a little twist on my own. And I'm not saying I've done that for like 100% of my jokes, maybe 10%, because I'm thinking, oh, you know what, that is a good joke. How can I make it my own? You know, but if you're gonna steal jokes word for word, then that's totally wrong. And I know how that feels, because I remember I went into one comedy club, and I said someone said one of my jokes, but he kind of made his own twist on it. And I knew this person. I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. But at the end of the day, I thought, you know what, it made people laugh. And I'm thinking about more the audience, because all these people have come out to enjoy themselves, have a good time. They're laughing. And like, I just saw that side. I thought, you know what, they're laughing. Let me just leave it alone.
Oh, okay. That's very.
Yeah, because you know what, there could be that one audience member who, I'm not going to go a little bit deep here. They could have been, you know what, on that brink of like, you know what, I hate my life, and their friend could have said to them, you know what, let's go out to a comedy club tonight. But, all right, cool, you know, just get myself distracted. And that person who told a spin-off of one of my jokes made them laugh, and it could have changed from, you know, committing suicide to like, you know what, this is a great night. I've had a great night. You know what, might have changed their life that 1%. And, you know, they're going to went home and think, you know what, I've got work tomorrow, let me go to sleep, rather than doing the worst. So I didn't see that problem there and then someone stole my joke. I look more deeper into like, you know what, someone might have had a bad day, they want to come and have a laugh, every act was good. They could have changed their mind in that split second. So, but that's how I saw it. But I know there's other comedians out there like, oh, you know what, that's my joke, you should have said that. And it just creates that bad vibe. For me, I just like, what's the worst someone stealing my jokes? Like, I don't mind if people see my jokes now because I'm not doing comedy anymore. So if I go out there and someone see a couple of my jokes, I thought, you know what? Someone heard it and then they must have passed it on and they put their own spin on it. Well, I saw like, you know what, I just put a joke out there, someone took it on spin on it and it made people laugh. So that's how I see it actually.
That's a lovely way to look at it. There's a few points I want to make and I want to see what you think, because it's an interest. The thing is, yeah, I do believe you've got to get inspiration from other people and you've got to learn from others to get better. Because if you do something without any feedback or another input or just talking to someone or reading a book or researching or whatever, you're not going to grow, or the growth is going to be very slow, and it's too slow to see any benefit.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and they say sometimes you want to learn something, look at a book they've written for someone that's an expert in it. And you can learn quicker in that field than if you went out doing it yourself. And that's like accumulated sort of knowledge. And then there's like experiment and research where you just go out and do it yourself. But so going a long-winded way, I'm talking about the thing that I understand that you've got to grow and learn from other people. But the thing that I'm a bit iffy about is if someone tries. So, for example, I myself had a comedian try and like take over my comedic persona, like, and some of the things that I say. And I didn't really the reason why I had something against that is because you're supporting someone who is going around, not develop their own thing, and like going around I see that as a bit of theft because it's something that I'm trying to develop and they're trying to take it for free.
Yeah.
And it's
like stealing your own identity, basically.
Yes, that's what I don't like. And it's a bit, from my point of view, I don't think that sort of thing should be encouraged. That's why I have something against that. And I don't want that to go. Yeah, I've got something against that. I think everyone should go out and do the things, learn from other people, but make it your own and have your own sort of identity. Don't try and hop off other people's things.
Yeah.
That's what I've got something against.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, I totally agree with you as well. Like, if you're gonna, like, for example, someone's copying your persona and your jokes as well. I don't agree with that at all. I disagree with it. Just, if you do like someone's persona, just probably, obviously you have certain subjects you talk about in your set. So if someone's copying your persona, I'd rather say, all right, this, because obviously there's some acts out there who are high energetic, and some comics out there like deadpan. Copy the style, yeah, but don't copy someone's jokes. You could probably, someone's talking about, I don't know, relationships. Put our own spin on the relationship and still have the same sort of style, like deadpan or high energetic, but don't copy word for word. I don't agree with that at all.
But yeah, I mean, this is a deep subject, and this is a thing that needs to be clarified. I like what you said. I think everyone should copy and learn from other people and make everything their own, but never go to the stage where you like go around and take credit or be the identity of that person.
Yeah.
If someone's going around being, oh, I'm this, all right, and then you go around and copy that and you try and take credit for that, you're famous of that ain't right. That's encouraging sort of theft in a way. That's like,
and to be honest, I think you should have your own style, because if you carried on doing that throughout your life, copying other people's acts or jokes, you're gonna get caught out one day. Because you could be at a comedy club, and then get that one audience member saying, you know what, I've heard that joke from XYZ, and like, yeah, we heard it joke for joke, so you're gonna get called out. So it's good to be brave, do your own style of material, You know, follow comedians that you love, you know, and just learn from them. Just don't copy. For me, that's a big no-no.
But I know it comes across as me sort of. I mean, I don't know what to say. Yeah. I agree, and to some of what you said, but the only bit I don't agree with is what I said there.
Don't agree with what? Sorry.
We go round and round. No, the point I'm saying is we have to learn from other people. So you copy, and you say that we do copy each other. Yes, that's true. But the only point I see is when you do it in a malicious way that sort of damages or steals someone's identity, or takes something away from that the other person can't use.
Yeah. No, I agree with you as well. It's like, down at the end of the day, it's like stealing someone's identity. You would just not do it, because you have to have your own style in comedy. And this is what I learned at the very beginning, because I was thinking, because when I was growing up, I listened to like Lee Evans, but I know I couldn't go out and be Lee Evans and do all of his jokes. So I think you just have to, just don't steal anyone's jokes. Just be your own character, and just learn from other people as well. That's all I can say, to be honest. But I agree with you as well. Like, you shouldn't be stealing other people's jokes, in a nutshell.
Yeah. But you can get inspiration and add your own ketchup sauce. Like, they put mayonnaise on their chips. You put sweet and sour sauce on the chips.
You put your own style on it. You know, put your own style, and just don't. If you are gonna copy someone's jokes, just reword it, every single thing, because there's a lot of people out there that talk about relationships, and everyone can relate to that, but it's just put your own spin on it. Just don't copy word for word, or how they act, on what tone as well.
The premise you can sort of use if you are
exactly.
What it's also interesting that you mentioned that you work for, and like you meditate and you do those other things, because I spoke to someone in the podcast. I interviewed someone on Tantra, and what I knew of Tantra before I spoke to him was just, I've seen American Pie 2.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where Finch is going, and then what's it called? Stifler pushes Finch. He says, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he says, "I am doing Tantra, imagining sex." So I imagine it being that before I interviewed the guy, but it turns out it was a lot more than that, and included like yoga, Tantra, and it's a very yoga, Tantra, and meditation are basically more or less the same thing. And he says that a lot of things used in the West, nowhere near, some of it's been, they take it from India and they put a much sort of shitter version of it effectively. And it's not as productive. Because I've seen sometimes, not everyone, but I've seen in some instances, people that claim they do meditation or they're really sort of calm and meditated. I've seen quite a few moments where they've been quite mentally unhinged, and a lot worse than me. And so it's a bit, so this guy who I was doing a podcast with, I find my phone and I find my laptop a big distraction at times. So I get away from it. And so I went to the park, did some stuff. I recorded a podcast for him, and it was recorded on my laptop. And then I get back home and I get like 50 calls from him and like 50 messages saying, "Send me the video, I need to do it right now." Like all this stress and all this sort of emotion. Like I just expect, like, come on, man, I've got a life as well. You got a life. And like, I thought you did all this meditation stuff to calm down and be relaxed. I thought you were saying that you were this. Why are you acting like this?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. You're getting 50 calls and 50 text messages from me. I'm like, you should have meditated. I would have told her that, listen, go meditate. Let's talk tomorrow. And then I'll send it over to you then when you're in a more calm state.
Yes. But it's funny because if someone, I'll show you this book actually. I watched this YouTube thing. Have you heard of Stoic Wisdom? Or
Stoic Wisdom? No, I haven't.
Who is it? me have a look. Give me 1 second. Anyway, is this the book? Okay, no, that's not it. Yeah, but okay, I read this book, an Unoffendable. So this is the book here. He's got a YouTube channel that's quite good, and his name is Elzin Ganja. So it was, I'll send you a link for it and people in the podcast. But he says that in regards to, and the book's called The Art of Thriving in a World Full of Jerks. And one of the things he says is if someone says something really nasty or really sort of trying to bring you down or have an emotional effect on you, it's caused by 3 things. Either they're angry, they're ignorant, or the angry, ignorant, or the insecure. And when people claim, as you said, well, one thing that is true, I think, and I did learn this in the, Barry Ferns made a good quote of it in one of the MC workshops. He said, we're all sort of walking contradictions in a way. And so when someone says that, in some sort of way, if someone says too much that they're this or they're that, then you got to get a bit get a bit skeptical on them. Because like if someone, like they say in a good Bond film or something, they have the villain, like he's a priest and he's really nice and he's lovely. Yeah. But when you get to see the real colour, he's like, hello, son, I'm a fucking boss. I'm going to beat the shit out of you, mate. The weirdo who was a bit odd was the good guy.
Yeah. But what you said was his name, Barry Ferns, right? The MC. Yeah, he's kind of hit the nail on the head. Yeah, because I believe when like we said, when someone comes at you, they're either angry, insecure, or what was the other one? Sorry.
Angry, insecure, or ignorant.
And ignorant, yeah. So I very rarely get someone coming at me, but if the last person I can remember come at me, I knew they were going through some hard times themselves. You know, so I kind of just didn't take offense to me. I kind of like talked to them. So what's actually going on in your own life? You know, and turns out that that person, like he was kind of ill, just come out of hospital. You know, he was having pressure of pressure of work, because obviously this time in COVID, you know, he hasn't got a job. He did have a job, but then he got fired during the COVID as well. So I can understand that, okay, people are going through their own lives. They're trying to take it out on someone close to them. And when they just realize that, oh, you know what? I'm sorry, you know, I just had a bad time. I just like sat down and confronted him. Not confronted him, but just sat down and said, what's going on? And then I helped him to say, like, okay, well, this is what you probably need to do. Obviously, if he wanted to follow it or not, the advice I gave to him. And you could just see like, like the next day he apologized to me again and said, listen, Junior, I'm sorry what I did. You know, I was just having a bit of a shitty time and I just took it out on you. I said, it's fine, it's cool. Like me, like 5 years ago, I'll probably like just cut that person off, like, oh my gosh, he's angry. Like, why is he angry at me? And like, I didn't do nothing wrong. I need to find some new people. But because I know he was coming from a rough time, I just sat down and just like, just listen to what he was going through and just trying to help him out. So if anyone's always angry, I know there's something that's going on, and whatever they put in on them is what they're going through in their life as well. So this is what I understand. And this is what a few people have taught me as well, not to react to how they're reacting, just ask questions, try and, you know, break it down what's actually going on in their own lives.
That's a good idea, yeah. That's have you heard of verbal judo?
Verbal judo? No, I've never heard of that expression. Sounds good though.
Oh, look it up. It's so if someone attacks you or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're wearing that black shirt for, whatever, and that's like someone's trying to set the frame that, oh, I'm going to attack you. You take it. You feel down or something.
Yeah.
You could say, rather than saying, yeah, it's quite sexy, mate. My blue shirt. I've been using that for a lot of pole dancing classes.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah, so I've just written down to look up verbal judo later on because it actually sounds sexy. The verbal judo, I kind of get the gist of it. Does it mean like if someone throws something at you, you just like retaliate, but in a good way, and make them a little bit cheesed off? I don't know.
Make it in a calm sort of situation for everyone involved, rather than let me show you this one thing as well. Got it in a little document thing. I think it's here. No, okay, that's it.
That's actually one thing I'm starting to do now, is when someone mentions a word or a phrase and it just catches my brain straight away, I write it down and check it up later on.
Yeah, me too. I often write it on my my iTouch, and then I write it on the laptop.
Yeah.
But there's a thing called PACE, and it's called problem, audience, the constraints, and empathy. And that's how you diffuse a situation rather than make it worse. And there's a book on it written by a cop, which I used. You know what? I'll show you it, and you can have a look and take it with you. What's it called? This book here.
Verbal judo. Okay.
And it's written by an American cop, and like how he dealt with stressful situations with people.
Yeah.
And he, like a lot of the times, sometimes in these shootings with people that are stopping on the road, because that's where a lot of there's no excuse for what happened with a lot of police get shot when they stop cars. So that's why that's not relevant. What I'm getting at is to what they do is police officers they attack too soon and not making it a calm situation. You've got to think of who you're talking to, and like if you go and give me your ID, give me this, you got to like ease up to them, calm them down a bit.
Of course. Yeah, and it's not good to because I think just go back to, because you don't know what the person's going through. Like, they might have a bad day, so if you go and start them off saying like, give me your ID, that's going to set them off even more. So I believe like whatever situation you go into, you just go in there calm and just try and figure out a solution rather than creating more dramas, I believe.
Yeah. What may I ask you, what sort of studying have you done on the law of attraction and visualization?
Studying, well, I'm always studying. I would love to learn as much as possible. At the moment, I actually got a book here. I'm reading this one here, Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, I'm reading that one as well.
Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the funny thing about it is that I've tried to listen to an audio. Someone sent me a link by email to read it, and I just couldn't get into it. I don't know if it was because I like to have a physical book in my hand to hold it and read, or it was just not the right time. So I actually bought the book about 3 weeks ago, and I've got into it so much. I'm reading it like half an hour every day and setting a time frame, so I have to read it. But that's what I'm learning at the moment. Someone told me to look about The Secret as well. Can't remember who's the author of it, but yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment. And some stuff I listen to on YouTube as well, just to get me like motivated and to just get going with your day. So this is what I'm learning at the moment, like Think and Grow Rich, watching YouTube videos, Tony Robbins, who else is it, and Eric Thomas. Yeah, so those are the kind of people I just listen to, because I don't want to listen to, those are the people I've listened to over the past maybe a year. But if anyone else is just, if I'm watching YouTube and someone else pops on, then I'll listen to them. But these are people I kind of resonate with at the moment.
So one thing, what would you say is the best, what have you found to be an effective solution for you when you're conducting, like you're starting your day and you're ending your day, in terms of using visualization law of attraction and affirmations?
So I will start off my day, meditate. All right, let's be real. So I would like to get up at 6. Sometimes it does happen, sometimes it don't. So if I don't get up at 6, I'll get up at 7. I'll meditate for about 10, 15 minutes. But when I meditate, I'm still trying to find the right technique, like what I want to meditate. If it's just to like breathe, then I'll do that. Or if I start the day off with gratitude, what I want out of life, so that's what I've started to do at the moment, like 15 minutes or just listening to, I don't know, like, music, or sorry, not music, water on YouTube that's like 3 hours long, but I just time it for 15 minutes. And what I do is I have on my phone what I want to achieve. So I just say that in my head, like, for example, I want to get into, I want to have a nice body in like by next year, May, and give myself a time frame. Or if I want to, I don't know, just earn an extra $100 in like two weeks. So I just give myself some targets and just meditate in the morning. And then after that, I do a workout and go to work, and then have a little break, and then I go back to work and I'll speak to like friends and family. So I've literally scheduled out what I do on a day-to-day basis, because obviously at this time and moments, people's lives are like all over the place. So I have myself to schedule what I want to do and what time I want to do it. So I just keep myself in check, because I know sometimes I could just like be spontaneous and freestyle with my day, and I don't get anything done. Like it's nothing structured. And at the end of the day, I feel like I haven't accomplished anything.
That's an interesting point you've made, because I watched this YouTube recently a couple of days ago where he says that a lot of top millionaires and billionaires don't use a to-do list. And they say that 41% of the things you put on a to-do list don't get done.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've worked with a to-do list for a while, and it does help to get me focused, but sometimes I spend a lot of time writing on it when I could have just got something done. But it's something I'm trying out these next few weeks. So I've got a to-do list for this week, but I'm not doing it for each day.
Yeah, that's actually good. That's actually a good technique. Having to do is what to achieve for the week rather than a day, because it just sees like, okay, this is what I've achieved in a day. It could be like, oh, do some ironing or some washing, or go out for a 10-minute walk, or to go to the gym. But in the long run, where's that gonna push you in the next 5 to 10 years? So it's good to have like what you're doing, have a schedule what to achieve at the end of the week. So okay, it can lead to, then you can probably push it to, okay, what do I want to achieve at the end of the month? And then once you get comfortable doing that, then you could go on further, like, okay, what do I want to achieve at the end of, I want to say end of the year, but the end of 3 months. So it's good to have that rather than what do I want to achieve at the end of the day.
How do you, because one of the things I spoke to, you got to focus on where you're at. So like Conor McGregor used to say, oh, I visualize being this or that. But from yourself, how do you make your visualization more specific? Because if your big goal is so far away from where you are, it's hard to make it happen. So how do you make it go in little steps to get to what you want?
Well, there's 2 things I do. I have screenshots on my phone what I want to achieve, where I want to get there, and I have a mentor to keep in check with me every day. Okay. So because I have a to-do list what involved with the business, I have like a to-do list what I want to achieve. Kind of contradicting myself. I have a to-do list what I want to achieve at the end of the day, and then I'll send it over to him, and then by the end of the week he can spot where I'm going wrong. And he was like, okay, Junior, this is what we need to be doing, focusing more next week. Let's do that and focus less on the stuff that you are strong at doing. And it can see the results at the end of each week. It's, it was like very poor. And then this was like how much I get done. And then it's kind of like at here at the moment. So it's leveled out. So the stuff I'm not good at, it's getting a lot better. And he's not forcing me, but he's keeping me on top of my games. Like, okay, how are you getting on? Like we have a chat, if not every day, then every other day about 10:30, 11 at night, where his kids are gone to bed, I'm free. and then we just check up on each other. So he have like what's the word? Yeah, he's my mentor and accountability partner as well.
Now that's an interesting point. That one thing I would like to ask you as well is, how do you find the right accountability partners? Because one thing I find, especially in comedy, there's been a couple of times where I've tried being open, I've helped them out, they've helped me out. Well, no, that I've tried to help them out, I've been open and honest.
Yeah.
But let's say when you get bitten on the arse, I was line bitten in the arse.
Oh, wow.
That's
a big bite.
I think I lost some of it. It's not come back. No.
Yeah. It's still healing at the moment, then I'm guessing.
Yeah, just a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
That's just growing back.
I think how you get accountability partner is if both of you are going in the right path, like what both of you want to achieve the same goals, and that's how you can find the right accountability partner. And I think he's the right one for me because, you know, basically he's got like he's got a wife, he's got kids, he's got a house, and eventually one day that's what I want, you know, wife and kids, you know, and you know, we have the same sort of dreams of like financial goals, what we want to achieve. And yeah, I think he's the right partner for me. Like to me, he's like a brother to me. And you know, sometimes we could joke about, but sometimes I do have that high respect of him as well. And what he tells me to do, because he's achieved what I want to achieve. So like I listen to him and I listen to other people as well. So I have one main mentor that I check in with, if not every day, every other day. But then there's other mentors that are training on a global scale. And lucky enough, I have their phone numbers, so I can ask them when they're not busy for any questions. And they keep in check with me as well. So, you know, like I said, I highly respect them, and whatever they say, I do, because they've achieved what I want to achieve. So I've got good mentors there, got good hearts, you know. Excuse me, I've met them personally. You know, I told them what I want to achieve, and they say, okay, this is what you need to do. So I've got the good accountability partner, but then at the end of the day, you know, they're working with me because I'm working hard every day. So if I didn't work hard every day, they'd be like, you know what, see you later, Junior, you're not putting in the results. You know, you're not doing what we told you. So we're gonna find someone else who will listen to us even more. So I've got to keep myself in check, and so do they.
Well, yes, so one thing this is an idea I have that I've come across, is that people that have made it and they're happy in life are not the people you have to worry about having any funny business done to you. A lot of the times I feel that they're often willing to help out and do okay things, but it's people that haven't achieved that if you do try and be open or whatever, may try some sneaky snevavel.
Yeah. I think that's down to your own beliefs, you know, because if you're, how can I put this? So basically, if say like someone wanted to partner up with me, you know, we're on the same journey, but I haven't made it to where I want to be, but they see the energy in me and like they like what I do, but they don't trust me yet. I just think it's down to how they think. You know, it's just down to the beliefs. So, you know, they could be on the same journey as me and like, oh, you know, but he hasn't made it. So why am I gonna listen to him? Which is fair enough. You know, I understand, but we're on the same path together. You know, I can teach you because I'm learning from someone else.
Yeah.
You know, so but if they want to go bypass me and learn from the other person, then fair enough. You know, I don't see it as an insult. I don't see it as I don't downgrade myself. I'm not gonna go fake it till I make it. I'm just gonna look for people who wants to, you know what, say like I offer them what I can, and if they want to join me, they can. If not, then I don't hold no grudges against them.
They're lost.
Yeah, it's their loss.
And okay, that's cool. some good, yeah, there's some good things there. Have you heard of Focus Mate?
Focus Mate. It rings a bell. I might have heard it a couple of times, but I'm not exactly sure what it is.
It's some sort of app where you book a session with someone and they hold you accountable to something. Like you have a session where you're working something, they're working something.
Yeah.
It's not anyone you know, but it's just...
Okay. I haven't heard of that, but we do something called Power Hour, like with a team. So if people are, for example, if someone is struggling just to, I don't know, make calls, what we do, if there's a group of them, what we do is we all do a Zoom call like this, and for that whole hour, we hold ourselves accountable. So you can't run anywhere. We have to do those, for the whole hour, the whole power hour, just making calls, and it progresses you and give you that little bit of confidence. So if that helps for you, you can like call on a stranger to help you push forward, then that's great. I mean, there's some people out there that are comfortable doing it. There's some people that are not comfortable doing that at all. I mean, me personally, I rather speak to someone. Like, I'm a people's person. I can speak to anyone I want to, but if it's someone to, go somewhere, go along the same lines as me, I'll need to know them first, like a good amount of times. So see what their mindset is, and if they're the right accountability partner, then we join up. So I rather get accountability for someone that I know first before I go to a total stranger.
You know what? You've made my idea sound silly. That's a good point. What has been your journey into the field of self-help? How did you get into it, and like how have you grown to love it? And what do you think? You've said it before, but what specifically inspires you? What's really made you fall in love with it?
I believe it's the industry I'm in, because it's opened up my mind so much, and it just made me believe, like, if you want something in life, you've got to work hard towards it, and you will get a lot of negative people along the way. We get a lot of people who will, not supporting you. So it's just made me put out a lot of positive stuff out there, because before I got into this industry, I was just working in retail, and I had a closed mind, and I was just felt like a robot, going to work, wake up in the morning, go to work, come back, do comedy or just chill out, and that would be my routine, like every day. And I didn't do no self-development. I wasn't reading any books, and but it was down to my first mentor, whose name is Simon Kendrick. He taught me about this book, Think and Grow Rich. He taught me about, watch YouTube videos, just open up your mind a lot more. And it made me understand people on a different scale as well. Even comedy, comedy's taught me quite a lot as well. It taught me about confidence, and it's taught me about, a lot of people come to comedy to watch you so they can laugh, and so they make their day feel a lot better, especially living like in London, because London's such a fast-paced city. Some people just want to come out and have a laugh. So comedies maybe be a lot more spiritual and positive, and the same with the industry I'm in as well, because there's a lot of negative people out there, and I come across them not as much as more, but maybe like even still now, like during the current situation, there are some. I haven't come across any negative people, but I don't. Maybe that's the universe is like pushing them away from me, so I don't get involved with them. But the reason why I put a lot of positive out there is because I know a lot of people going through some stuff. I try to encourage people, and I just make them see there's more to life than just working 40 years plus.
Yeah.
There's a whole world out there. Go out traveling, meet new people, I know like at the end of the year, I always do a little Facebook Live to say leave negative people this year, you know, move on forward to next year. And just there's some things I used to do. I used to do as well. Just every day, if I'm going when I go to work, I will try and say at least good morning to 3 people minimum, random people.
Oh,
yeah. Like I could be cycling, I see a little kid, I like morning to a little kid, and his mother, and then like I'll say hi to a policeman or or a shopkeeper, or elderly people, just anyone really, because it's just because especially in London, there's so much cold people out there, and you just that one good morning, it's like, oh, there is that one nice citizen out there still, and it gives us a little hope.
oh yes. I mean, I think one thing being in London that we can all relate to is when you see the face of people in the tube, like, this is how we're sit down there.
Yeah.
It's always
yeah.
fucking end. It's always the sort of fuck off face. They don't want to be spoken to. It is you're going to get depressed if you look at that face every day.
Yeah, it's true. And it's something that you just said now, like the fuck off face. But I just believe that I think sometimes some people want to be talked to. Because I know that when I'm on a tube, I wish someone just starts a random conversation with me. And I think, why don't I start the conversation? So sometimes like someone will be sitting in front of me, I'm like, hey, you're right there, mate. Or also like, oh, I see them reading newspapers, like anything interesting in the papers today? Even if I don't care, but it's just making that conversation. And this is kind of thing I want to like pass out to everyone. Just like say hi to 3 people every day, because you never know, that person might be just feeling a little bit rubbish. They probably want to go to work and just have that little conversation on the way to the tube. When they get to it, it's like, oh, you know what? This random person says hi to me and they said this, that, and the other, and then they will pass it on and has that ripple effect.
Mm. Okay, that's a good. Yeah, it's good. For myself, I mean, I don't mind doing all that, but I'm more of a. Okay, so what would you say to someone that prefers being an introvert as opposed to someone that, but then being sort of out there and like, boom, oh my god, boom, boom, boom.
Introvert. Oh, that's a good question, because I actually know 2 introverted people, but they have that little burst of moment. So introvert. You know what? You could probably start, I don't know, your own introvert club, for people other introverts, and just like start an online thing, and then I don't know, set yourself little challenges to say, I don't know, good morning to at least 1 person a day, get that little bit of confidence out, and then try meet up all together and go out for like dinner or lunch. So you're not, even though you're a group of introverted people, you're still going out, that sort of thing, rather than just sitting like how we are now, like on our laptops, just like being confident on home. But I would say as well, just if you have that introverted side, but you feel like I want to do something adventurous, not adventurous, but yeah, adventurous, just start off with something small. Just say hi to random people, or just start your own introverted club. And that's all the ideas I can have at the moment.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and then how do you handle sort of social anxiety? That's the question I want to get at, because that's a big thing for a lot of people, because it is a bit uncomfortable. If you're on the street or something, you want to be left alone, and then you're in a situation when you're forced to. We all have those days, and we all sometimes where you have to be. People expect you to be all Mary Poppins, and that's
I would say you just got to be brave and just say, listen, I'm an introvert. Listen, I'm not feel comfortable talking to people, but thanks for coming up to me. I really appreciate it. But then on the flip side, if you're not an introvert person, you got to understand there are some people out there who are not like that. So you can say hi to someone. If you don't say hi to them back, don't take it as they're rude. They're probably just uncomfortable speaking out to people. So yeah, I reckon you just got to, if you're an introverted person and you want to come out your show a bit, just try and interact a bit, but give them a heads up as well. Like I don't feel comfortable talking to people, but it's one of my things to do to actually start talking to people, random people. But just let you know, I'm not going to be all happy, Mary Poppins, and in your face sort of person.
It's, that's, yeah, it's one thing I wanted to get at, and this is a change of topic because it's back to the visualization thing. Do you use vision boards, and to what extent, and what do you think of them?
Vision boards, I'll be honest with you. I think it's this. Yeah, this will. Yeah, I purposely like. You see the blue wall behind me. There's a blue wall there and a blue wall there. This is going to be my vision wall. So what I want to achieve. So I do believe in vision boards because when you wake up every day, you will see, okay, this is what I want to achieve in the future. So at the moment, right now, I've got what's it, a vision screen on my phone. Like, so I've created a folder of things that I want to achieve in the future. So it's got to be like, I want the latest Apple computer. I've got a picture of The Rock in this. I want to be like his size. There's like dream house, people I want to work with. And I look at that in the morning and I look at that in the evening. And I have notes as well, what I want to achieve, and I read it. And every day I look into it, the more I feel like it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because I do truly believe that this is going to happen at some point. I'm not putting I could put a date on it, so it puts a bit of pressure on me to work towards it. But I truly believe in vision boards and visualization, have it on your wall, because there's a lot of people out there. If you say to probably like 95% of people say, what do you want to achieve in life? They'll be like, I don't know, don't have really any goals.
Yeah.
But there's a small percent of people out there that can actually tell you from detail, like what car they would want, who they want to marry, how many kids, where they want to live, job, income. So I believe those people, they have visualization, they have it on their wall, on their phone, or they have it on a piece of paper and they read it every day. So I believe I'm a true believer of this. At the beginning, I was a little bit skeptical, like, because I remember I was with one company, it was just full of women. I was probably like one of the 3 guys there. And I was like, wow, these people, these ladies are really on the visualization. And they were talking about most of the grids from like, just do the work, you probably get there. But then a part of me thinks, you know what, if they're doing it and they're having success, let me try. I'm a believer of trying new things out. And and this is when it leads to when I got through that 5 minutes of the King Gong. When I start visualization, I'm like, my gosh, it actually works. So I thought from then on, it was like a done deal. So yeah, I truly believe in it.
Because it's an interesting thing, and people do it in different ways though. So I think, what's the point where you say you got to find it different ways? Because you got Jim Carrey, he used to write down a check for $5 million in 1995, and then you got Mo Gilligan, who writes his goals for a day, for the year, and he hides it away and he looks back on it.
Yeah, those are good. I remember that Jim Carrey one. I actually love that one, and I didn't hear about Mo Gilligan one. How he just wrote it down and he hides it away. But it depends on the person. It depends how you want to do it. Like for me, I believe looking at it every day, because sometimes I can have that off day, like I just don't want to do anything. And we're all human, we even go through those days. But I pick myself back up and like, you know what? Let me look on my phone, and one day it could be on the wall, so I want to wake up and see it. But it just depends how you. It depends on everyone's individual.
Yeah. It's what advice do you have for someone that wants to, so specifically, what fear do you think, and this is one of the things that I got from the Think and Grow Rich book, there's like 7 fears or something that people go on.
Mm-hmm.
And what fear do you think people need to overcome, and what advice would you have for people who can get over their fear in terms of making their dream their main job? Because a lot of people either have fear of loss of relationships, loss of money, being poor?
They're fair. Oh, that's a good question. I believe it's probably fear of doubt. You know, so because if someone wants to achieve something, they feel like, oh, can I do that? Can I do this? And I believe that's down to your self-belief. You know, if you don't have that belief in yourself that you can achieve anything, you're not going to go anywhere. So the fear you have to get out is, you know, don't have that fear like I can't do it. Just have that belief like I can do this, and always reminding yourself. And you know, speak to people who's been in the same situation. You know, of if you're scared of, you know, if you're scared of being in like poverty, speak to someone who's been there, you know, and come out the other side or rosy, and just say, well, what did you do? And they will give you like steps of how they came out, you know. Or for example, you know, like let's take comedy. You know, if you feel like, oh, you know what, I've bombed on stage like for the past, I don't know, week, I don't know what's going on, like how do you get past it? Speak to someone who's been in that same situation, and they say, yeah, this is what I've done. And fear is always going to be around you, but it's just going to be if you tune into it or tune into fear. Because if you're always going to think of fear, it's always going to be embedded inside you. So don't think of the negative, think of the positive outcomes of the other side of the fear. And this is what I teach myself and other people as well.
And what's it called? What have been the challenges you have faced getting into this industry?
Challenges
you've had to battle and overcome.
You know what, the number one challenge is myself. That's what I truly believe, because people can tell you so much, like negative stuff, positive stuff, but at the end of the day, all I think about is, okay, where do I want to go? You know, and if I listen to people outside of that industry, or you know, people who are being negative, it's going to slow me down. So the worst thing you can ever come across is your own challenges, your own obstacles that you put out there. You know, you just got to focus on where you want to go. You know, speak to the right people. You know, write down what goal you want to achieve, and then just work on it. Work on yourself as well, like personal development. You know, I would say work on yourself every day. You know, and just where you want to go, work on it every day. That's all I can say. You know, because this is what people taught me, and when I've ignored everyone else, what they're saying, even if it's good or bad, you know, obviously you take the good bits, like, yeah, that's great. Negative stuff, you know, I'll probably, like, negative people are just pushed away. If I get in people who are giving me pointers, which,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, I could listen to it, you know, a few pointers. If it worked, great. If it's not, then I'll tell them. But other than that, I reckon it's just your own self-belief that will get you to where you want to go.
Yeah. Okay, gone through that. How has your experience in comedy sort of interlaced into, actually, an interesting question is, how do you compare comedy as opposed to the industry you're in now?
Comedy.
The people, the environments, the mindsets, and how the whole scenery.
I will compare it. It can be a bit challenging, and at the same time as well, you know, you've got to, like, everyone's not gonna like you, basically. You know, you got to have the right people who like what you do and do what you want to do as well. So, funny enough, do you remember a guy called Semi? Semi Cedar.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, he's actually joined what I'm doing as well. So, well, I said join, but he did join. But then he said, like at the last minute, like, oh, you know what, I don't want to do it anymore, because he doesn't feel like he has the time and the energy, you know. But I think you just got to understand people, you know, and you got to find the right people in your niche as well. So my comedy was a bit like relationships, you know, travel, taking look at myself. So I kind of like find those people online as well, so we kind of relate to them, or they can relate to me, relate to each other basically. And you know, you just gotta keep working the graft. You know, like with comedy, you gotta put in. The more time you put in, the better you get. And it's the same with, you know, the industry I'm in. So you just got to find the right people, the environment. I would say you just gotta find the right people basically. You know, everything's about people. You know, whether you it's comedy, you know, business, and you just got to find the people who want to ride along with you, I believe.
Yeah, but it's a difficult decision though at times.
Oh yeah,
And it's not easy thing to do. It was.
my,
I think the biggest thing is though, you got to be okay with people not liking you, and that's a difficult thing. That's a very difficult thing. So I had an incident at my night on Sunday,
mhm.
and we struggled a little bit for audience, and like there's a bit of a problem. Like two comedians were really, a couple of us were okay with the show going ahead, but two of them were really sort of, well, one of them in particular, they had a really negative atmosphere and things that saying, this is weird, this is that, this is whatever, and that they were really sort of critical. And it
Yeah,
spilled over into quite an uncomfortable feeling for everyone there. Just
mhm.
think, oh, I traveled all the way here. And it just was a very awkward vibe and uncomfortable. And I didn't know what to do in the situation.
Yeah,
Now, the thing is, now what I learned from that is I need to let people know in the nights and the comedians that, look, for certain shows that I'm running on the Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays, they're going to, for you don't know how many are going to come in. It's going to be a bit iffy, this and that.
mm.
But if there are a few audience here, where I want to put on a show for them and have a good time.
Yeah,
Like perform your set, watch, or if you're not happy, you can go. And like just make it. That's the rules. Otherwise, it's going to be an awkward atmosphere. It's going to get funny,
yeah,
and it's better for everyone that way. And
yeah,
because I didn't do that, it was quite an awkward and uncomfortable situation on that Sunday.
yeah,
And that's the thing I got to let. And also, well, actually, that's the main thing that I've learned from running a comedy night is you have to, you know, it's all well them being good, but you have to pick the right sort of people there, people that you get on with and have the right energy. Some people you have a good energy with, some people you don't.
yeah,
And you have to have a set guideline, and that's sort of the thing for life as well. You have to pick sort of, as you say, people that vibe with you, that you get on with,
mhm.
because otherwise, yeah, it's not going to be any good for you. You'll get annoyed, they'll get annoyed, and there'll be this sort of
Yeah,
toxicity or whatever, and people
yeah, that's
feel it.
true.
You know, it's not like sexual tension between a man and a woman, or a guy or a girl and a girl, where it's a good thing. This is sort of this taste, sort of,
Yeah,
which makes everyone uncomfortable.
yeah. I think what you did there was the right thing to do, just to pre-warn them as well. And I think this is one thing every night should do as well. Like, if some nights are not gonna have like loads of acts, I'm sorry, loads of audience members, you know, just put it out there. Like, this is what we're gonna. This is what's happening. Some nights there's not many audience members, and if there's not many audience members, you can do this X Y Z. And you know what? You should also warn them as well. Like, there are other places around London or UK that are going to be having nights like this. So just bear that in mind, you know, and just have that respect, you know, because everyone's got to start. If you want to make it big, you've got to start off like being small. So, you know, have respect of the comedy. I mean, the host that put on the night. You know, it is. You know, I don't think I could run my own night because so much goes into it. You probably just think, oh, you just turn up, set up the mics and everything, but there's so much details that go into it. So just have respect of the host, and like they've got like their own way to put on the night. They couldn't have done that. They could have just like, they could have just go to other nights, but they put up their own nights. So you have that respect for them, and just have respect for the industry as well. If you're gonna go to, a night and it's not what you expected, I don't think you should become a comedian, or you're not gonna have respect that industry at all, because everyone goes through it. Like the acts of like Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, all the greats, they've all been in that same environment when they started off at open mics in shitty pubs or clubs or whatever. But in the end, they made it, because they worked their craft. So just respect the industry, like no matter how small it is, because if you do make it, people say, oh yeah, I met him in that little pub down in Hammersmith, or I met him down like Camden. So you gotta have that respect for like all the small little places that start up.
Yeah. It's what that's the thing with the night. There's a lot of and there's a lot more to learn as well all the time.
Yeah.
And I still think there's a lot that I could do better, and that I'm learning from others. And yeah, there's little things that you got to get in earlier, because there's all sorts of things at the venue could do that could go wrong.
Yeah.
To set everything up, and also it's only a little thing. So like when I didn't do, it's like it only takes a little thing for everything else to go wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it sort of spirals across, so you have to be quite cautious in a way. So it like in a certain night, it only takes for one audience member to go mad and get upset, or to try and attack someone, for the whole evening to go wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if they had like under the influence of alcohol as well, because it's even harder to control them.
Exactly. It's like I had one instance where this guy was with his girlfriend, and some men like to be all macho in front of their woman.
Yeah.
And one, like, they were about to leave and they were disturbing everyone. And then one of the guys said something, and he said, "What? Are you serious? This is not be a caricature of him," but he was getting really sort of,
yeah.
And that's to impress as well. But it only took that to make an awkward sort of atmosphere for the rest of the evening.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, and it's so true. And you actually just reminded me of a scenario that happened. This was actually in a professional club. Club 99, I believe. I think it's down.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. I know it's in central London somewhere. And I think it was time where Michael Jackson was like the biggest in the news about his sleeping with kids. And one act, I think it was I can't remember his name now. I think it's Fumbi Atamayo. I can't pronounce his surname, but it's Fumbi. And he was actually saying a joke about Michael Jackson, and it wasn't like above the line, it wasn't past the line. It was like something that everyone can laugh about. And one woman in the audience was like not having it. She's like, "Oh, I don't think you should be making jokes like that." And she just set off the whole audience, like, "Oh gosh, and why are you making this sort of just?" And the guy was actually trying to defend himself. Like, he was saying, "Listen, if you don't like the jokes, I don't feel bad. You could just leave." Well, she was just sitting there trying to defend her point. And I was that close just to say, like, you know what, he's an act, he's trying out some new stuff. If you don't like it, just leave. But I thought, you know what, that might just add fuel to the fire. So I'll just shut up and be quiet. But then the compare at the end, like, he was the last act. So the compare in the end, he came and he just said a few things. He just like totally squashed it, made the woman feel like an idiot so badly that she didn't say anything. You just see her like head down, like, "Oh, should have shut up." But yeah, like it's down to how you can like diffuse the night, and especially if the compare can say something at the end, just to like make her realize, if you're gonna go out to another comedy club, the acts just trying out new stuff. You can't be saying you don't like it. If you don't like it, then leave and just shut your mouth, basically.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're trying to please to everyone, you're going to please no one.
Exactly. Yeah. Just go out there and be yourself. People are gonna like your style. And this is what people got to realize as well, especially comics. Just go out there, be you. You're gonna get people that relate to you. Some of the stuff you say. Just don't, like I said, don't try and please everyone, because you're gonna end up pleasing no one.
Yeah, you're gonna be boring.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now, if I'm just like, if I throughout this podcast, if I just complimented you for an hour, you would get wound up and say, "What the fuck are you on about?" Like, come on. Like, it would just be so weird. Like,
or that I could feel like that, or feel like, oh, he's made me feel like I've had my day now. Like, oh, I'm a happy chap.
no, but to do it non-stop where it comes across as insincere, like a compliment will have a lot more effect if you just say it once or twice. You don't need to say it boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. And then I'll be thinking, like, what's he getting at as well? But
Yeah.
you just don't give a compliment all the time. It is going to be a bit weird.
So, what else is there to talk about? What has been an interesting story you've had with a client where you've tried to, where you've helped them that's been funny and unique? Because, you know, people don't always take well to criticism because you're attacking it. When you criticize someone, give feedback, sometimes you're damaging their own very perception of themselves. And if they're so tied up to that, they'll get very offended and hurt by it.
Yeah. I think the only way you can give pointers to someone is if you actually been there yourself. You know, because I remember seeing one act, and he was quite good, but every time I saw him, he was doing new stuff. And I said to him after a gig one time, I just came up to him and I said, listen, I've seen you different places. Well, I think you're a great act. Like, you just started off new. He says, yeah, I've been in for like 5 weeks. And I was like, okay, cool. And I said to him this kind of, listen, I'm not here to badmouth you. Like, you are a good act, but if there's something that I've learned, you know, that helped me is just, you know, just have a solid 5 and just literally work on that craft, and then probably add in another joke into it. And then, because sometimes like when he's doing the joke can, so I understand the jokes, what he was saying, but because it was so new, he didn't know how to, you know, deliver it properly. Rather than if he just, you know, worked on that delivery like every other night, you know, rather than just doing new stuff all the time, you know. And he said, oh, you know what, thanks, you know, I didn't think of that. I said, you know what, not many people do, and that's the advice I gave to me, and I just passed it on to him. And then I think I might have saw him like a couple of months after, and you know, he was being a lot more carefully on how he's delivering the punchline, and he got more laughs during the night. And he saw me as well. It's like, oh, you know what, your advice really works. Thank you very much. I said, oh, don't worry about it, man. Just keep going out there and rocking it. So it depends how you come at the people. If you're like, oh, you know what, I heard that joke, you know, last week, but you know, I didn't like it. You know, maybe you should just do. No, just you've got to have a relatable story to someone before you go and criticize them. This is what most people don't understand.
So you got to say what happened to you that made you think that, and then you go like, okay.
Yeah, and then if someone comes up to you and asks you advice, but you haven't been, you know, in that situation, I don't think it would be good to give advice. I'd be open and honest. Like, listen, I wouldn't know what to advise, but probably speak to the host, you know, because they've been in the industry like more than I have. Maybe they have better advice. So I would pass it on, like, if I didn't know what the right thing to say, because you know, I could be giving them advice and it could be totally wrong. And the next time I go on stage, like, oh, what, that junior told me to do this and I did it and got bad feedback. You know, that makes me look bad. So if you haven't been in their situation, don't give them advice. Just pass on to someone who you think it might have. If you've been in that situation, just, you know, come correct at them, say it in a nice tone. Don't like bad mouthing them, but just, you know, say it in a good way to help them out, not you trying to criticize them and make them feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. What sort of advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh my gosh, you know what? I've heard this question last week. Someone said the same. Well, it was a different whole. It wasn't. I was watching the interview and someone said this question to someone. I was like, oh, what would I say to my younger self? That is a good question. I would probably say, I would say don't stay in your comfort zone, you know, and work hard towards your goals. And Yeah, and you know what? You're gonna get, there's a lot of negativity people out there, but just don't listen to them. That's what I would say to my younger self.
And what is a quote that you would like to live your life by?
Oh, well, I might have to look on my phone for this one. Actually, no, I think I know it. I don't know it word for word, but it goes along the lines of, if you want the things you've never had, you got to do the things you've never done.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I think it might have been, well, to be honest, I got that from Gary Vee, but then there was someone on, because I put that up on Facebook somewhere, but then someone said, oh, it's Les Brown. I'm like, I don't care. I just understand what the quote means. So yeah, I don't care who it was by. You know, I couldn't care if it was Kermit the Frog that said it. You know what I mean? Just, you know,
Let's
just
check it. Let's
yeah,
check
it's
it.
the message. I don't care who brings the message. It's the message. So yeah, that's what I'll do. Like yeah, if you want the things you never had, you got to do the things you've never done. So yeah, it's just like coming out your comfort zone and achieving those things. So that's what I would live by.
Okay. What is okay? So, is there anything that you would like to plug?
Anything I'd like to plug? I do actually. To be honest, there's actually a couple of shout outs I want to do. So first of all, I'd like to, these are like through like the years of comedy that I was doing. So first of all, I'd like to give a shout out to Carl Wallace, because he was, you know, there was some nights he actually gave me great advice, and I implemented that straight away. And I could see just by looking at my recordings, through recording myself, I could see the changes of how I deliver and what jokes work. And he gave me a rating as well, like how to, you know, rate yourself for like each joke. And when I did that, it just changed the whole thing. Another person I'd like to shout out to is, oh, I can't remember how to pronounce her name, but Ariel Suma.
Ah,
Yeah, she was she was actually the first person to tell me, because she saw me, what I was saying earlier about like changing like the act every time I do a new performance. So she's seen a couple of my acts. She said, you know what, you're good, but just focus on one 5-minute set and build it up stronger. So I'd like to say thanks to her. And another one is Sama Wolf. And she was actually the one that gave me my first ever 5 minutes ever. So I got her to thank. And there's someone else who's not in comedy anymore, but his name is Simon Calavazides. And yeah, I was his plus one for about a year before I started doing comedy. So he actually got me into, he actually planted that seed in my head, like, oh, you know, maybe I should do it. You know, so I got to thank them as well, and thank to, including yourself, you know, thank all the other, you know, hosts of the nights who gave me that 5-minute spot just to work on my craft. So, you know, I know it's tough out there, even especially trying to make people laugh, but you lot are doing a fantastic job. And you know what, I just say keep supporting open nights and open mic comedies, you know, because everyone's got to start from somewhere and it's not easy, you know, especially some nights you don't get the audience members. We all go through that, but you know, it is a hard industry. You know, it is a job, you know, going out to make people laugh without tickling them physically. It is a hard job. So you know, hats off to all of you out there. And yeah, if you guys want to follow me, I'm on Facebook, Junior Herbert, and if you're on Instagram, it's Junior Herbert. So it's underscore Junior underscore Herbert. So yeah, those are the two social media sites I'm on.
okay. And what about the name of your company that you work for, in case anyone wants to get any sort of self-development needs and self-help?
Well, the self-development, we do that like on a, it depends on the people, but the company I'm involved with is called iBoomerang. So there's IBUUMERANG.
Okay. Hi, Boomerang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the company I'm involved with, and yeah, it's just the people that who's mentoring me and the people around. It's just like it's just a lovely environment. You know, no negativity there at all, none. Like I'm not just exaggerating, just literally none. It's just lovely people, and yeah, this is it's depends how you want to put it. Like, you know, network marketing, MLM, you know, home-based business. It's in that industry there, but this is something that I love doing. You know, it to be honest, it was one I was doing network marketing and comedy at the same time, you know, and it was a bit challenging. So I had to go for the one that I had more passion with. And it was network marketing. And even though I do like comedy, you know, but it was that point where, you know, I was canceling gigs. And I was like, why? But I got into the industry of comedy for the wrong reasons. And, you know, when those reasons went away, I was like, yeah, I just saw it as a life lesson and a little journey, but I've learned so much from comedy, so much. So I don't think I believe I would be the person today if I didn't get into comedy.
Every little helps, the Tesco advert.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. So yeah,
Boom. Like
yeah,
Kobe Bryant made a good quote. He's a hero of mine. You know, it's really upsetting that he died.
yeah.
He says that
Devastated. Yeah, him and his daughter, man.
but he was a remarkable man. Like he said, you focus on one little thing, and then if you keep doing, when you're climbing Mount Everest, you focus on one little thing, and then he says, before you know it, you've climbed it.
Mm. Yeah, it's true. You know, and it's a good thing because some people they're just like focus on the end results, but you know, to get to the end of to get to the top of the mountain, you got to like, take the first little steps. You know, don't focus at the end of the goal. Just take one step at a time. Just focus on where you're going. Look ahead of you, not look at the top thinking, oh my gosh, do I have to still reach, you know, another 1,000 feet to get there? It's like, but you will get there eventually. It just depending on your own time and effort.
Yes, and it's a bit like with Nigel Unn. Like I mean, the success he's having is fucking my god.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like 2 million. And the thing is, though, he even said that he only wanted to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. And when he reached that, he was really happy. And then when his Uncle Roger blew up, he got to 100,000.
Yeah.
Now it's now, but he didn't plan for that. He only focused on one bit at a time, and that's how he got there. He didn't get there by seeing the 2 million.
Yeah. What do you mean? Followers? You mean or?
Yeah, 2 million subscribers on YouTube.
Oh, really?
And on TikTok. But his target was actually get 10,000 on YouTube.
Okay. Wow, I didn't. I follow him on Instagram. I didn't know about here. I didn't know it was on YouTube, but yeah, he's having like major success, you know. And some people, you know, for me, some people see like, you know, the followers, how much you get, and even though 2 million followers is great, but I think obviously the content you're putting out there as well and the craft. I just look on like the amount of effort he puts in, because I remember meeting him some of the nights, you know, and I got some good advice from him as well, and just seeing him in like an open mic night. You know, the first time I met him was down South End at a night, and he was doing like maximum 10 minutes. But now look at him, he's on like what was it? Not Have I Got News for You? What's it called? Of the Week. Yeah, and then he's doing like he's on Comedy Central, and that's what I love to see. You know, that's what I want to see for so many people as well. Like I started off with them in like open mic nights, and just to see them on like, I don't know, Live with Apollo or Comedy Central, it's such a buzz that I'm celebrating for these people, and it's so nice seeing that.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, it's inspiring because, you know, you see them on TV, you just there see them on TV like, oh, it's an act, but you don't know the behind the scenes, like the trial and tribulations they went through, the nights where some accident, some audience members didn't turn up, some gigs getting cancelled because the mic's not working. They don't see the hard graft that they go into. So just to see them there, it's like, wow, love it, absolutely love it.
Yeah, That's what it's about. It's a good thing if someone does well that, you know, rather than get jealous, just use them as inspiration.
Yeah, that's what I did. Like, I haven't got a jealous bone in my body at all. At all. Like if I see, you know, especially if it's like, you know, King Gong, if I go up there and see someone absolutely smash it, I'll be like, well done. You know, like even like you know, they won the night. I got to them afterwards and said, you know what, you was absolutely brilliant. You know, there might be not some jokes that I understood, but you got the crowd on your side and you absolutely deserve it. So I always praise people, always feel like jealousy just gets you nowhere for me.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. Yeah, if you just end up being bitter, you're going to end up bitter for the rest of your life. So you might as well celebrate other people's success.
Exactly. You need to go forward and just, yeah, that's what it's about. Just want to say, yeah, it's been good to catch up with you, buddy.
And you too, man. And I wish you all the success with your podcast. You know, this is, you know, you're doing your bedroom now, but you know what, you might be in the studio having a podcast with someone famous. So I wish you all the best with your podcast, man. If you want me back on again anytime, they'll be more than welcome, man. Like my door's always open.
I'd love to have you back. It's been good. It's been fun, and I just want to say, same thing to you. I just hope like things with the virus and just best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
And I'm not good at these end speeches. It just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I know, man. Maybe that's what you need to work on.
I think that's what I'll work on. It just didn't sound right when I said, look, it's been good to catch up with you, and I wish you the best of success as well. And I look forward to helping you out and you helping me out with things that we need to work on.
All right, brilliant, man. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye, bro.